Success is a word we use often. We think success is a big house, a fast car, or a lot of money in the bank. But we are wrong. True success is built on a foundation we often forget. It is built on the hungry nights of our mothers. It is built on their tired backs and their broken dreams. This is the story of Sarah and her son, Leo. They lived in a very small village. It was a place where the sun was too hot and the rain was too cold. Their house was not a real house. It was a small hut. The walls were made of mud and straw. The roof was made of old grass. When the wind blew, the house made a scary sound. When it rained, Sarah had to put old buckets on the floor to catch the water. They were very, very poor. Sarah was a widow. Leo's father died when Leo was just a baby. Sarah was all alone. She looked at her little boy and made a promise. She said, "I will give you a life better than mine. I will work until I cannot move. You will be a great man." Every morning was the same. The world was black and silent. The birds were still sleeping, but Sarah was awake. She got up from her thin mat on the floor. Her bones made a clicking sound because the floor was hard. She went to the corner of the hut. She used a match to light a small fire. The wood was often wet, so the smoke was very thick. It filled the tiny room. Sarah coughed and her eyes turned red, but she did not stop. She cooked a small bowl of white rice. That was all they had. When Leo woke up, the rice was waiting for him. Sarah sat across from him. She watched him eat every grain. She looked happy just watching him chew. Leo was a smart boy. He looked at his mother's hands. They were empty. "Mom, why are you not eating?" he asked. Sarah laughed a little and patted his cheek. "Oh, Leo, I ate while you were sleeping. I had a big piece of bread and some sweet fruit. My stomach is very full. I cannot eat any more." But there was no bread. There was no fruit. The only thing in Sarah's stomach was water and hope. She stayed hungry so her son could grow. After Leo walked to school, Sarah began her long day. She did not have one job. She had three. She had to earn every cent for Leo's books and clothes. Job number 1. She went to the river. The water was very cold in the morning. She took big bags of clothes from the rich families. She knelt on the hard rocks for 4 hours. She scrubbed and scrubbed. The soap was very strong. It made the skin on her fingers peel away. Her hands were always stinging. By the time she finished, her back felt like it was breaking. But she took the wet clothes and hung them up to dry. Job number 2. At noon, she ran to a small restaurant. She did not cook the nice food. She worked in the back. She washed the big black pots. The steam made it hard to see. She scrubbed the grease and the burnt food until her arms were shaking. She worked there for 3 hours every day. Job number 3. In the afternoon, she walked to a construction site. Men were building a big school. Sarah was a helper. This was the hardest job. She had to carry heavy bricks. She put a piece of cloth on her head. Then she put 6 heavy bricks on top of her head. She walked back and forth under the hot sun. The bricks were very heavy. Her neck hurt, her legs felt like they would give out. But every time she felt a sharp pain, she closed her eyes. She pictured Leo wearing a graduation gown. She told herself, "One more brick, one more book for Leo." One day, a very big storm came. The sky turned black. The rain fell like stones. Leo was at school. He was very worried. He had one school book. It was his only book. If it got wet, the ink would run and the pages would stick together. He would not be able to study for his big test. Sarah was at the construction site. She saw the rain. She didn't think about her own safety. She grabbed an old plastic sheet she used to cover the bricks. She ran to the school. She did not have shoes. Her feet were splashing in the mud. When she saw Leo at the school gate, she was soaking wet. She was shivering. She did not put the plastic over herself. She wrapped the plastic around Leo's book bag. She took off her old shawl and wrapped it around Leo's chest to keep him warm. "Go home, Leo! Run fast!" she shouted. Leo ran home. Sarah walked slowly behind him. She was so cold that her lips turned blue. That night, she became very sick. She had a very hot fever. She coughed all night. But the next morning at 4 a.m., she got up. She went to the river. She knew that if she missed work, they would have no money for oil or salt. She chose to be sick so Leo could be a student. As Leo grew older, he changed. He was a teenager now. He started to look at the other boys. He saw their clean white shirts. He saw their leather shoes. He saw their bicycles. Then he looked at himself. His shirt was yellow and had many patches. His shoes were held together by a piece of wire. He started to feel a hot fire of shame in his heart. He did not want to be poor. One day, there was a big meeting at the school. All the parents came. Sarah came straight from her job carrying bricks. She did not have time to wash. Her face was covered in gray dust. Her hair had sand in it. Her clothes were dirty and torn. She sat down next to Leo. Leo saw his friends looking at her. They whispered to each other. They pointed at her dirty hands. Leo felt so embarrassed. He wanted the ground to open up and swallow him. When they walked home, Leo was very angry. He slammed the door of the hut. "Why did you come to school like that?" he screamed. "You look like a beggar. Everyone was laughing at me. Why can't you be a normal mother? Why are we so poor? If you worked harder or did something better, I wouldn't be the joke of the school." Sarah stood still. She did not yell. She did not tell him that her back was bleeding from the bricks. She did not tell him she had not eaten a real meal in 3 days. She just looked at her dirty hands and whispered, "I am sorry, Leo. I will try to be better. I will try to make you proud." She went to the kitchen and sat in the dark. She cried very quietly so he would not hear her heart breaking. Leo worked very hard because he wanted to leave the village. He got a scholarship to go to university in the big city. On the day he left, Sarah walked him to the bus. She looked very small and very old. She handed him a small handkerchief. Inside were many small coins. "This is for your lunch," she said. "Study hard, my son. Don't worry about me." In the city, Leo became a new person. He studied engineering. He was very smart. Soon, he got a great job. He earned a lot of money. He bought a big apartment. He bought expensive suits. He forgot about the mud hut. He forgot about the smell of smoke. He sent some money to his mother every month. He told his friends, "I am a good son. I take care of my mother." But he never went back to visit. He was too busy. He called her once a month. The calls were very short. "Hi, Mom. I'm okay. Here's the money. I have a meeting now. Bye." Sarah would sit by her phone for hours before the call. She just wanted to hear his voice. She was getting very weak. Her hands were so painful she could not hold a spoon. But when she spoke to Leo, she used a strong voice. She said, "I am fine, Leo. The neighbors are helping me. I am eating like a queen." She was still lying to protect him. 15 years went by. One day, Leo felt a strange feeling. He wanted to go home. He drove his big, shiny car to the village. The roads were still bumpy and dusty. He reached the old hut. It looked very sad. The wood was rotting. He walked inside. He saw his mother. She was sitting on a small stool. She looked so tiny. Her hair was white like snow. Her eyes were milky because she could not see well. She was trying to sew a hole in an old cloth, but her fingers would not move right. "Mom, it is me. Leo is here," he said. Sarah stood up. She was shaking. She reached out her hands. Leo took her hands in his. He stopped moving. He looked at her hands. They were not like his soft, clean hands. Her knuckles were huge and twisted. Her skin was like the bark of an old tree. There were deep, black scars on her palms. Her fingers were bent and could not be straight. Leo looked at his own hands. They were perfect. He looked at her hands again. He finally understood. His hands were soft because her hands were rough. His life was easy because her life was hard. Every book he read was paid for by the skin on her fingers. Every meal he ate in the city was paid for by the bricks on her head. "Mom, your hands. What did I do to you?" Leo whispered. He started to cry. The tears fell onto her scarred hands. Sarah smiled. She touched his face with her rough thumb. It felt like sandpaper, but it was the most beautiful feeling in the world. "Leo," she said softly, "do not cry. These hands are happy. They carried you until you could walk on your own. My scars are my love for you. I would do it all again just to see you stand here today." Leo fell to his knees. He held her feet and cried. He realized that money could never pay her back. He had been a successful man, but he had been a poor son. He promised to stay with her and take care of her until the end. A mother's love is the only thing that is truly free for the child, but costs everything for the mother. She gives her youth, her health, and her food so her child can have a dream. Never be ashamed of your parents if they are poor. Never be ashamed of their dirty clothes or their simple words. Those clothes and those hands are the signs of a hero. Do not wait until you are rich to love them. They do not want your money. They want your time. They want to know you remember. A mother's sacrifice is the fuel that makes the impossible possible. If your mother is still here, call her, go to her, look at her hands, and say thank you. Because without her sacrifice, you would not be who you are today.